How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Austin here. Today we're going to be looking at Yves Saint Laurent Y Le Parfum. This is a fragrance I've had for a while now. This one is one that I picked up from Sephora on a deal that they had going on where it was certain brands were 40% off. So I got about this bottle for $80, I believe. This is a 100 ml bottle. So let's go ahead and talk about the presentation. So as you can see, it is an all black bottle. This is actually the original formulation of Y Le Parfum. This came out, I believe, in 2021. Cap's pretty decent feeling. It's got the YSL logo on top. It's kind of got like a textured feel to it. Clicks into place pretty well. Atomizer, pretty good. I quite like that. You can see on the front of the bottle, it says the brand, and then it has like a Y that goes around the corner, and there's a little notch out for the middle of the Y there. And then on the bottom, you just have a sticker with your batch code. My only gripe with my bottle in particular is it's actually leaking pretty decently out the back of the bottle. When I went to go pick this one up to do this review, there was actually like fragrance oil dripping down the side. Now we'll go ahead and take a second to talk about the scent itself. And I actually have a fun little thing we're gonna do here. I actually have a tester of the new reformulation that came out last year, the 2024 reformulation of Y Le Parfum. So we're going to be comparing those two throughout this video. So immediately on the opening of this, it's fresh citrus, aldehydic, and it's very green apple forward. That's immediately what I pick up on this. It's really pleasant. I really enjoy how the opening smells. It's definitely a blue fragrance in my opinion. The newer formulation of Y Le Parfum is more floral. There's not quite as much of the apple, a little bit of patchouli in there, and it's brighter overall. No breakdown between these two. The original formulation does have quite a bit more going on in the note breakdown. However, even though the current formulation technically only lists 4 notes total, I still do pick up quite a bit of that original DNA. So there's obviously some of those original notes playing in the background too. As we hit the mid, the original actually gets slightly sweeter in my opinion than the current formulation. And you get a little bit of those flowers from the mid coming out a little bit more, adding a little bit of floral, a little powderiness, not extreme, but it's there. The new iteration honestly is more linear to me. It's more woody, a little bit pine comes out. It definitely gets a little bit fresher in my opinion, but overall it stays pretty similar to the opening. And then as we head to the dry down, the apple on the original bottle, that is really the star of the show here. That apple is very present. It's the star of the show here. It doesn't really go away throughout the life of this fragrance. So if you don't like apple scents, I probably couldn't recommend this one to you. But I love how apple smells. Apple's one of my favorite flavors and smells, so I really do enjoy it. That's the reason I picked this one up in the first place, is because it is really apple forward. Otherwise, those flowers stick around. It's still citrusy, but it does get darker in the dry down. You do lose some of the aldehydic notes and those citruses from the top once you hit the dry down, so it does get slightly darker. The new leans more piney, woody, slightly ozonic, and more flowery, honestly, than the original formulation of this scent. As far as projection, longevity, sillage, they're both pretty similar. They're both Le Parfum concentrations, so they both project well. They both last a long time. I get easily 8 to 12 hours on skin with this stuff, and it projects pretty well that for at least the first 6 hours. The original formulation is a little bit trickier to find nowadays just because it is discontinued, but I'm seeing prices range anywhere from like $120 to maybe $140 on that one. Whereas the new formulation, you still can buy directly from YSL. That one is $185 for a 100 milliliter. And I'm seeing around $130 at discounters. Overall, since both of them are still available, the original formulation might start to get harder to find here soon, but it's still pretty readily available. If you really want a bottle of that, you can go find one. However, you're probably gonna have a hard time trying this one before you buy it, just because it's not continued anymore. It's been superseded by the new formulation that came out last year. So this might be one that if you're wanting to smell what the original one smells like, you might need to go get a decant or a sample of it if you can find one of those. Overall though, would I recommend one over the other? Not really. They're both pretty similar. They both do things in their own way, but I mean, they both are blue fragrances, so they're both going to scratch that blue fragrance itch. They're both really long lasting. They both project very well. One of them slightly brighter, less of that apple. One of them's more appley, slightly darker through the entire scent itself. Their sweetness is pretty similar. One does lean a little bit sweeter than the other, but overall they're pretty similar because obviously they should be. They're the same fragrance technically. And I would say it is kind of redundant to own both of them. If you own one already, I don't really think you should go out and try to buy the other one unless you're just a huge fan of the line for some reason and you want to have all of them. Then I would say, sure, go ahead and pick them up because they are slightly different. I would say the original one would be more tailored towards not super hot weather. So you could do like early spring, late fall, maybe wintertime, but they're blue fragrances. You can really pull them off any time of year if you really want to. And the other one would be more tailored towards high heat because it is fresher, in my opinion. And it's just more versatile for that kind of high heat stuff. So if you're really wanting to make a case for why you should own both of them, you could technically wear one more during summer high heat and one more during the colder weather because it would be more suited for those situations. Well, I think that's gonna go ahead and do it. Would I recommend YSL Parfum? Yeah, I really like it. It's a good blue scent. It's one of my favorite of the blue scents. I like both the old iteration and the new iteration. Do I think it's worthwhile to go back and get the old one? No, unless you really like it. I think that new one scratches the itch just fine and it smells fantastic. Both of them smell really good. So I don't think there's really a reason to go seek out the old formulation unless, again, you've really smelled it and you really liked it and you just waited a little bit too long to pick up a bottle. But otherwise, I would just say go get the new formulation. Like I said, they're both pretty similar. But yeah, I would really recommend YSL, YSL Parfum. If you guys like the video, go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Otherwise, I've been Austin and I will see you guys in the next video.